back, everyone. We're here today on a Saturday, if you're listening in live, the day that it is released, with our first house call of the weekend. Thank you so much for joining me, for sharing your time with me and our community, going through our community's questions. So every single weekend, I open up this amazing document that has been created by my team for all of the questions that have come in through the Ask Cabral. We're typically now about 8 weeks to 10 weeks behind on your questions, but just do know that we answer every single one of them in the order they come in. So really over the last couple weeks, I've been diving right into the show, not going on too many rants at the very beginning, because I want to make sure that I spend this time answering your questions as thoughtfully as I can, and always giving you that next place to get started. So again, my goal with this is we're not going through a full consultation, not asking you all the questions I would, but I'm certainly hopefully giving you a second opinion, another place to look that maybe you haven't before. And the last thing I'll say is that I don't prepare for any of these questions. So this is me based on now about 25 years of working in the health and the wellness and the fitness-based industry, and sharing with you what I've seen over that time, working with now well over 250,000 client appointments. So that is hopefully what I can share with you. And if you have any feedback, I'm always here to listen. All right, let's get started. Let's get that document going. Today's episode 2290, if you'd like to follow along, stephencabral.com/2290. All right, the first question is from Maria. And Maria says, hi, and thank you so much for everything you do and all of your time. My question is this. Back in October of 2020, I had my gallbladder removed. Prior to having my gallbladder removed, I had amazing bowel movements. Sorry for the TMI. I also never had a urinary tract infection. I'm 46, by the way. After I had my gallbladder removed, I started to experience that my bowel movements were starting to slow down. Then I had my first urinary tract infection. Then I started developing adult acne. My bowel movements started to slow down even more. Got another UTI. Bowel movements continue to slow down. I try to eat very healthy. I'm very intentional about my health. I try to do the right things and take the right supplements, but I'm consistently seeing that my constipation has gotten worse. My acne has gotten worse, and I have another UTI recently in the month of February. Most recently, I noticed I get full faster, and I feel like I'm also so stuffed from gassing and burping. What would you recommend? All right. Yeah, I'm glad you ended with that last part, because I have many shows on what happens when your gallbladder is removed. And again, let's keep in mind, I'm not here to provide you with medical advice. I'm not here to provide you with medical diagnosis or medical treatment plan or medical cure. Always have to give that disclaimer. So what I'd like to do is help you look at the underlying root causes. Okay, so gallbladder, well, pretty important, right, for storing bile. And so the issue could be then with digestion. Most likely it is. Here's one of the issues, though. A lot of people, and no doubt about it, can be bile-related. They have too little stomach acid. So if you go to stephencabral.com/podcast, you can check out a podcast on how to improve stomach acid. If you ever can't find a podcast using the search box, you can always head on over to our private Facebook group, cabralsupportgroup.com, and just hang out there, ask a question, and you'll be able to, they will tell you which podcast it is. All right. So just always feel free to do that as well. All right. So we need to get that stomach acid going. And the reason is, and I know that might sound strange, but it improves bowel transit time. The more stomach acid, the faster the bowel transit time. However, we have something called bile that meets that stomach acid to normalize and slow down bowel transit time. So our goal is to actually make sure there's enough stomach acid. That's the top half of the digestion. And then the bottom half would be, well, what happens when the food moves from the stomach to the intestines. And so we want to look at then also bile production as well. Some people decide to take a little ox bile upon waking before bed. That's the easiest time to take it. Or you could do it an hour after a meal, but most people don't want to time their supplements all over the day. So you can certainly do that as well. But my recommendation, if possible, is to run a bacteria and parasite stool test. I would just want to make sure that you're not dealing with gut dysbiosis, which you very well could be, because now you're getting UTIs and acne and much more. So if you can run one lab, go to stephencabral.com/labs and click on the one that says bacteria and parasite stool test. If you can run two, you'll also run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test to look for yeast overgrowth. All right, Maria, thank you for writing in. Rebecca's up next. Hello, Dr. Ball. I'm 39 years old, and over the past year, I've been having a cluster of symptoms: GERD, headaches, vertigo, off balance, fatigue, muscle spasms, numbness, and tickling in my hands, feet, tongue, and lips. I had an MRI that showed nonspecific white matter changes and was referred to a neurologist. I had an EMG, which was done, but I haven't gotten the results. I'm not a fan of a neurologist I was referred to, and I'm looking for a more holistic approach. I suspect mold toxicity. I moved out of our home and into a brand new house, but my symptoms have not gone away. I changed my diet by eliminating dairy, gluten, and going organic. I did have vitamin B12 checked, and it was normal. I'm currently under CBO protocol. Any advice I should be testing for or foods to eliminate? This is very frustrating. I wish I could feel normal again and get to the bottom of this. I'm so glad I found your podcast, and thank you for all you do. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate that. And let's see if we can give you a little bit of help. So we're looking at GERD, esophageal reflux, right? So some acid reflux. We're looking at headache. We're looking at vertigo. We're looking at off balance. All those kind of go together, right? Vascular nature of the head and feeling off balance. Although certainly it could be mineral imbalances or it could be histamine imbalances. Fatigue, okay, that could be caused by, again, lower minerals, lower vitamins. Same with the muscle spasms, electrolytes as well. Numbness, tingling in the hands, certainly could be B vitamins, could be blood sugar related, and a few others. And then the tingling, and the hands, feet, tongue, and lips. So definitely, I mean, I would look at the overall, this is called the trigeminal nerve block or nerve area. I've mentioned this before. So if you find a good chiropractor or muscular therapist or physical therapist that can assess your posture and your cervical vertebrae, I would do that. Just rule it out. And then if there's no impingement on the nerves in the neck, which could cause all of these symptoms, except for the GERD probably, then that would be good. But, it could be mold. There's no doubt about it. I did a podcast on the stealth pathogens. I would love you to re-listen to that show if you haven't. So you can just go to stephencabral.com/podcast, type in stealth pathogen, and you'll be able to see that. Mold is one of those. So I would certainly look at mold because mold could cause all of the symptoms you have right now. So luckily, you're at least starting in the right place. We would do the CBO protocol with the citricidal drops. Then after that, we'd be using the CBO finisher and the mold toxicity protocol. Without a doubt, every day we'd be using the omega-3s, the daily nutritional support at a minimum. Now, why would you move from you move from a mold-infested home to a new home and it's still not better? Well, there's a reason for that. Because if your body is already now infested with the mold, well, you took the mold with you, and it is the mycotoxins, which are being basically the waste matter from the mold inside you, that is constantly making you feel worn down, increasing maybe your rain barrel of histamines and inflammatory cytokines that's leading to every single one of your symptoms. So all of this is very possible. We need to go deeper. So you can do no lab testing if you want and just do the protocols. Again, I'm not giving you a medical treatment protocol, but certainly anybody who's in this position, we always recommend the Big Five, like 100% of the time. And if you can't run the Big Five, well, then you at least run the starter kit, okay? Which is much more affordable as well. All right, Alicia is up next. Hi, Dr. Ball. First, I quickly want to say that I love your podcast and I wish I discovered it sooner. Trying to catch up with all the older episodes since I learned so much from you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Alicia. My question is about the thyroid. I recently found out I have hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. I'm against taking hormones. How can I rebalance my thyroid naturally? I have a naturopathic doctor who mentioned to me LDN, which is low-dose naltrexone, that for some people can reverse autoimmune conditions. Any thoughts on LDN? Is it worth trying, or would you recommend other, more natural approach? I'm also dealing with GI issues I'm addressing, and I read that LDN may also be helpful to my gut issues. Okay, so I've talked about LDN, low-dose naltrexone, many times. Head on over to stephencabral.com/podcasts. Type in the search box first, LDN, see the shows that pop up, and then type in afterwards, low-dose naltrexone for shows that pop up. Definitely check that out, listen to that show. I have no problem with some people doing low-dose naltrexone. However, it is not getting at any of the underlying root causes. Again, I'm all for like naturopathic doctors recommending that or functional medicine doctors, but it's still not getting to the root cause, which again, that's why. I'm an advocate of working with a naturopathic doctor. But I also, if someone's not telling you and working on the root cause, then they're not working the root cause, right? So like, hey, if the naturopathic doctor said, I want to use low dose naltrexone for a period of about 3 to 6 months while we're addressing the underlying root cause that led to your Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism, I'd be like, oh, okay, not a bad plan. We're going to alleviate some of the suffering with something like rheumatoid or Hashimoto's or MS or lupus. Okay, fine. I'm not that person, right? But other people are. I get it. So here's what you do though. You need to find out what the underlying root causes are. And for the most part, if you've read my book, The Rain Barrel Effect, and I'm going to give you some thoughts on Hashimoto's, that you find out what the underlying root cause of the autoimmune issue is. And a lot of times, like the majority, it is gut issues, okay? So I personally would run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, and I would run the bacterium parasite stool test. If you can't run those, at a minimum, I would run the starter kit. It's going to give you minerals and heavy metals because heavy metals could be a cause of autoimmune. Looked at Candida, a couple bacterial-based markers, really, really nice labs. And I'd run the stress, mood, and metabolism test. You can run those with your naturopathic doctor, or you can run it with us, or you can run it with an integrative health practitioner level 2, your choice. Now, in terms of really figuring all of this out, well, I have about 50 podcasts, 60 podcasts just on the thyroid. Go to stephencabral.com/podcast, scroll through the little images at the top, click on the one that says thyroid. That will teach you everything you need to know about your thyroid. Or if you want to really cut to the chase and figure it all out, you'll go to stephencabral.com/courses and take the Thyroid Rebalancing course. That'll teach you literally everything you need to know, A to Z, dozens of books. You will know as much as most people, even experts, know on the thyroid, and you'll have an A to Z map. And I do that for female hormones. I have one for the thyroid. I have one for gut rebalancing. I have one for free on the detox, and I have one that comes along with Fatlocity for weight loss. I'll be adding more in the future, but that's enough for now. So hopefully that's helpful, Alicia. All right, Gordon's up next. Hello, Dr. Ball. My issue is what seems to be a chronic problem with lightheadedness, dizziness. Has been going on for a year plus, happens every day now, sometimes several times a day. I've had MRIs, thorough eye exams, thought to be ocular migraines and ear exams, all testing return within normal limits. I'm in my early 70s, take no medications, exercise regularly, maintain a healthy diet. Typically, I have a low heart rate and low blood pressure. Any ideas as to the cause? Next steps, any help is appreciated. Thank you for all you do. All right, excellent. So there's so many different causes of being lightheaded. There really are. So here's part of the issue. I was lightheaded. This is going back like 2 years now, and it lasted for like 2-3 weeks. And I was doing all the different physical therapy-based techniques. So you might look in the physical therapy-based techniques as well. I have a podcast. Excuse me. I don't know that I'm going to be able to find this one. So let me see if I can. Lightheaded. Let's see if I can find it. Top 10 causes of dizziness and what to do about it. There it is. Episode 1698, my friend. 1698, the top 10 causes of dizziness. Please check that out. I also give you my personal issue. Yeah, that's about 2 years ago. That was, I did this one in September of 2020. Well, there we go. And that's why we have a running list. Okay, so that's what I would do. I would check out that show. Because there's multiple modalities. Like I said, whether it's Alicia asking about Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism, whether it's Gordon talking about lightheadedness, or what other questions do we have today? GERD, there's literally only ever about 6 to 10 reasons for any one of these things, okay? I gave you all 10 on dizziness on that show, 1698, so definitely check that out. But yours could specifically be an electrolyte-based issue. It really could, because you have low blood pressure and a low heart rate. It could be that you are sodium deficient. It is possible. Again, no medical treatment plans given, no medical diagnosis, but it is likely that you are running low on electrolytes. If you did more potassium, it would drive you even lower heart rate, even lower blood pressure. That would be bad. But if we increased your sea salt, could it improve both and your lightheadedness? I've seen it happen many, many times. But it's not just that. It's sometimes magnesium and calcium as well. If possible, Gordon, I would run the starter kit. All right. So the starter kit's available at stephencabral.com/labs. Take a look at those electrolyte levels. All right. Next question is Adam. Adam says, Dr. Cabral, many thanks for all you do. You have truly been a blessing. My questions are related to anti-aging and Ecolife's new longevity line, which I'm very excited about. What is your current anti-aging supplement protocol? Do you take Cell Boost and InflamaSoothe? If so, what dosages? Are there any anti-aging supplements that you consider outside of Ecolife? On episode 1507, you mentioned that you've been taking nicotinamide riboside for 3 years, but it was not included in Cell Boost. Instead, nicotinamide mononucleotide was included. Do you prefer NMN over NR? Longtime client Adam. Adam, appreciate you writing in. Yeah, happy to answer this absolutely. So since, let's see if I can give you the exact date. Probably somewhere around 2015, 2016, I started using nicotinamide mononucleotide and then switched over to nicotinamide riboside. And the reason was that initial studies showed, this is definitely way back in the day. Initial studies showed that NR was being better absorbed. And so I said, okay, well, this is great. And there's a lot of great research on that. But eventually I switched back to nicotinamide mononucleotide, and I'll share with you why. It goes back to my always foundational principles. And every time I break my foundational principles, I've always made the wrong choice. Now, I don't think NR is bad at all. But what we've seen is some research that when you take your NR too high, then there are some negative results. So I don't like that. But why? But it always goes back to because you were telling your body what to do. Your body is like a stubborn 2 or 3 year old. It doesn't like to be told what to do, or teenager, right? Or me, or anybody, right? We don't like to be told what to do. So when I'm trying to improve testosterone, for example, I don't give testosterone. I give DHEA. But that's not the only thing, of course. If you look at our daily testosterone support, what does it have? Well, ashwagandha, tribulus, it has all sorts of different factors because you want to decrease stress. You want to make sure you have enough vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc in order to be able to make testosterone, right? Right, of course. So, but if you take DHEA, it's a precursor. So now let's look at it a different way, right? DHEA is a precursor to testosterone. So your body's not going to make testosterone out of control if you give it DHEA. It's going to make what it feels is appropriate for testosterone, but it's going to make sure all the raw material is there. Okay, so that's taken care of. So what we're really looking to do is create more NAD in the body, right? That's really what we're looking to do. That's why we take NR. That's why we take NMN. We want to make more NAD. We can't really take NAD. Some people do it through IVs or pushes. I'm not an advocate of that. I really am not. Because again, it breaks the foundational reasoning for it. And the reasoning is that we give the body the raw material. So NMN is a larger, we'll call it molecule, than NR. So it contains an extra phosphate group. I'll do it. You know what, Adam? I like this. I love this. I love this topic. I'll do a full podcast on it for people that like to geek out a little bit on this. So anyway, what I'm doing is that NMN actually more closely resembles NAD because it has all the groups needed in order to easily make NAD. I'm not saying NR is not effective. It is. NR is effective. But I've seen less harm from taking NMN that I have from NR. So my first philosophy is always do no harm. I like NMN. That's what I'm using. That's what I use. And I use Cell Boost every day. Now, in the beginning, I actually do recommend double the dosage of Cell Boost. I really do. I do. And I recommend that for 12 to 16 weeks. And then I have people go down to the 2 caps a day. Okay, so that's what I do. Yes, I use InflamaSoothe. I think it's a great product. I don't need to do a lot of InflamaSoothe for me. I think it's a nice product. It's certainly helped me to recover more appropriately from exercise and just not create the inflammation that my body's prone to. What else do I use? Well, I use HistPro every day. So HistPro might not be considered anti-aging, but it really is. Why? Well, it's loaded with quercetin, right? Like that's one of the big factors in that. Has extra vitamin C. I like that. So I'm using my immunity protocol every day. You might not say it's anti-aging. Okay, but it's a lot of vitamin C, which my body needs to recycle all of these other great things and also detox. It contains zinc and vitamin D. I'm using Cell Boost. I'm using InflamaSoothe. And I'm using HistPro. So I'm definitely doing those. And then I'm doing my DNS, my daily fruit and vegetable blend. and then I'm using my omega-3s. And then I cycle through other products. I know that this may seem like a lot, but not everybody has to use all these. But right now, I'm actually using a few additional products from our line. My testosterone levels are good, so I don't need to use the daily testosterone support, but I'm actually adding in the advanced CoQ10. And the interesting thing is, like, I already have energy, so it's hard to say, is it working? Yes or no? But I can test it on my next Candida metabolic and vitamins test. And the other product that it's too early to just give you feedback. That's why I'm like stuttering a little bit on it, is the daily vision and eye support and eye health. That is one of my favorite products. It literally is such a powerful, like, powerhouse antioxidant formula. It really is. So we all stare at computers all day. I stare at lights and video all day filming. I have my phone. I'm pretty good about my phone. I don't overuse that. It's a lot though, but also Siri's talking to me all of a sudden. I'm like, who else is in this room with me? I thought it was just me. Nope, Siri's always in the room with me apparently. But the last thing I'll say is this, that antioxidant is a powerhouse in that daily vision because it contains astaxanthin, bilberry, and so many more that you typically wouldn't be getting from your average diet unless you're eating a lot of brightly colored fish every day, like wild salmon or krill or something like that, right? Shrimp, etc. So that's what I use. I'm always happy to take more questions on this, so always feel free to let me know. And I'll probably do a whole podcast on this. So Adam, great question. That is our time for today. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much, as always, for your support. If you haven't reviewed the show, I would love you to take 30 seconds to review that. And that's it. So I'll be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. Take care, everyone.